In a world where schools are meant to nurture young minds, the halls of education can sometimes hide the darkest secrets imaginable. Tonight's story takes us back to the fall of 2001, inside the walls of Ridgeview Boarding High School, a prestigious institution in upstate New York known for discipline, academic excellence, and a notoriously rigorous science program. Students there were driven, competitive, and determined to impress their instructors no matter the cost. But that same drive would soon fuel a tragedy so disturbing, so unimaginable, that it would stain the school's reputation for generations. We're about to unravel the truth behind the disappearance of a 14-year-old freshman girl, a case that baffled investigators, shattered families, and left the entire school community living in fear. Her vanishing seemed impossible. No sign of struggle, no forced entry, and no witnesses. 4 years, her whereabouts remained a mystery, until a forgotten piece of technology revealed what really happened inside the school laboratory late one terrifying night. Before we dive deep into this chilling true crime case, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue bringing you real stories of mystery, tragedy, and unsettling truths the world tried to bury. Now, let's begin. The leaves had just begun to change color around Ridgeview Boarding High School when the senior science group filed into the human anatomy lecture hall. Their instructor, Mr. Adamson, was known for his strict standards and equally strict grading. His expectation for their end-of-semester anatomy research project was painfully clear: deliver groundbreaking work or fail your final assessment. The assignment: a complex comparative report on the functions of the human heart and brain, requiring precise observations, detailed diagrams, and practical understanding. Most schools would settle for textbook study or virtual models. But Ridgeview prided itself on being ahead of its time, pushing students toward advanced experimentation. For most seniors, the pressure was intense, but manageable. For a particular group of 5, Caleb, Renee, Marcus, Eliza, and Troy, the pressure wasn't just academic. Their acceptance to top medical programs depended heavily on their performance. Anything less than extraordinary wasn't an option. After the lecture, the group met in the library to discuss their plan. Caleb, always the boldest, slammed a textbook shut and said, "We can't pass this if we stick to diagrams from a book. Adamson wants real understanding. Real results." Eliza frowned. "What do you mean by real?" Caleb leaned forward. "We need something no other group will have." The others exchanged uncertain glances. But ambition, mixed with fear of failure, creates a dangerous blend in young minds. Days turned into weeks. Their project remained incomplete, and anxiety grew. Then, during a late-night study session, Caleb said the words that would seal the fate of an innocent student. "There's a freshman girl in Maple Dorm. Quiet, alone. No close friends. No one will notice if she's gone for a few hours." Silence fell. No one agreed, but no one disagreed. And that silence was the beginning. Emily Carter was 14 years old, quiet, polite, and academically promising. She had transferred to Ridgeview only 3 months earlier and was still adjusting to boarding school life. Her parents lived 3 states away, trusting Ridgeview to protect and guide their daughter. On the night of October 19, 2001, the dorm was silent. Lights out had passed hours earlier. The hall monitors made their final rounds, and Maple Dorm settled into the calm rhythm of sleeping students. At 1:27 a.m., while the moonlight illuminated the courtyard, a shadowy group of figures entered the building. They wore hoodies, gloves, and dark clothing. Their movements were calculated, deliberate. The group slipped quietly to Emily's room. She slept soundly, curled under a blue blanket. Renee whispered, "We can still back out." But Caleb shook his head. Marcus gently pressed a cloth over Emily's mouth, the kind soaked in a substance borrowed from the chemistry supply room. She never woke. They wrapped her in a blanket, lifted her from the bed, and carried her through the back stairwell toward the science wing. The school layout worked in their favor. No cameras in the dorms, and none in the hallways after construction shifts had left the system only partially functional. Emily vanished without a sound. The next morning, confusion turned to panic. Her bed was neatly made. Her shoes lined up. Her books stacked for class. But Emily was gone. School officials assumed she had run away. The local police launched a search, but with no sign of forced entry and no witnesses, theories spiraled. Rumors spread. She hated boarding school. She had trouble fitting in. She must have escaped on her own. But Emily's parents knew better. She would never just leave, her mother said. And she was right. The science laboratory was located in the oldest wing of the school, a section rarely used after dark. The heavy wooden doors, metal sinks, and outdated cabinets created an eerie atmosphere even during daylight. At night, silence made the room feel like a tomb. The seniors carried Emily inside, locking the door behind them. They placed her on a stainless steel examination table. Troy hesitated. "We don't have to do this," he murmured, trembling. "We can say we didn't finish the assignment." Caleb glared. "And fail? After everything we've worked for?" "No. We finish this." Eliza pulled out the anatomy tools, scalpels, bone saws, stainless instruments meant for advanced demonstrations. They had studied diagrams, but diagrams couldn't prepare them for real flesh. Renee whispered, "Everyone grab gloves." Emily began to stir slightly, but the chemicals were strong. She never fully regained consciousness. What happened next was beyond monstrous. Driven by the pressure to excel, desensitized by ambition, and detached from reality, the seniors performed a horrific dissection, treating Emily not as a human being, but as an opportunity for academic success. They studied the structure of her heart, measured the weight of her brain, sketched diagrams with clinical precision, took notes with cold detachment. When they were done, they divided her remains into separate sealed bags. Caleb disposed of them one by one at a restricted maintenance dump site behind the old gym, where construction waste was often burned. By dawn, Emily Carter had simply ceased to exist. And the seniors walked into class the next morning wearing clean clothes and emotionless expressions. They submitted their project a week later. Mr. Adamson called it exceptional, disturbingly advanced for high school students. What happened next was beyond monstrous. Driven by the pressure to excel, desensitized by ambition, and detached from reality, the seniors performed a horrific dissection, treating Emily not as a human being, but as an opportunity for academic success. They studied the structure of her heart, measured the weight of her brain, sketched diagrams with clinical precision, took notes with cold detachment. When they were done, they divided her remains into separate sealed bags. Caleb disposed of them one by one at a restricted maintenance dump site behind the old gym, where construction waste was often burned. By dawn, Emily Carter had simply ceased to exist. And the seniors walked into class the next morning wearing clean clothes and emotionless expressions. They submitted their project a week later. Mr. Adamson called it exceptional, disturbingly advanced for high school students. None of them blinked. Ridgeview Boarding High School found itself trapped between responsibility and reputation. Emily's disappearance sparked investigations, but the school administration, concerned about enrollment numbers and public image, did everything possible to downplay the crisis. Principal Harding issued carefully crafted statements. "We believe Emily may have left voluntarily. There is no evidence suggesting foul play. We are cooperating fully." Behind closed doors, though, staff whispered. A few teachers found the seniors' anatomy project unnaturally detailed, but fear of scrutiny, and of Mr. Adamson, kept them silent. Emily's parents spent years fighting for answers. They organized search efforts, hired private investigators, and appeared on local news repeatedly. Each time, Harding subtly discredited their claims. Meanwhile, The seniors graduated in 2002 with honors. Their project was praised so highly that it was displayed in a glass case outside the science department, labeled as Outstanding Academic Excellence. The truth sat right in front of the entire school, disguised as achievement. But secrets cannot stay buried forever. Not when technology remembers what humans forget. Unbeknownst to anyone, not even the seniors, the old laboratory had an invisible security camera installed during a 1997 safety audit. It was small, embedded into the corner molding, and linked to an outdated backup storage drive in the basement. The school forgot about it. The students didn't know it existed. And the footage simply sat there. For 4 years. Until a janitor repairing basement lighting stumbled upon a dusty server box humming quietly behind a metal grate. A box containing the past. In late 2005, Ridgeview began renovating its basement to expand storage. Electricians were ordered to remove outdated wiring and replace old circuit panels. That's when George Mallory, a longtime maintenance worker, discovered the forgotten security server. He brought it to the attention of the new assistant principal, Mrs. Becker, who insisted on reviewing its contents before disposal. The footage, grainy but functional, showed years of archived hallway and classroom recordings. Then she clicked on a file labeled lab_wing_cam_03, October 19, 2001, 1:23 a.m. Her blood ran cold. The camera captured everything. The seniors carrying Emily into the lab. The instruments. The table. The movements. The horror. Though the lens didn't record sound, the visuals were undeniable. Mrs. Becker recoiled, covering her mouth. She called the police immediately. Within hours, investigators swarmed the school. For the first time in 4 years, Ridgeview was forced to face the truth. Emily Carter had not run away. She had not vanished mysteriously. She had been murdered by students trusted with leadership and academic excellence. Police located the construction dump site behind the gym. Digging through layers of debris, they recovered fragments of bone and tissue preserved between layers of compacted ash. DNA testing confirmed what Emily's parents already feared. The remains belonged to their daughter. The 5 former seniors, now college students scattered across the country, were arrested one by one. News spread like wildfire. Ridgeview 5 charged in 2001 disappearance case. Caleb was found attempting to flee the state. Eliza collapsed during interrogation. Marcus refused to speak without a lawyer. Renee broke down crying, repeating, "We didn't mean to, we didn't mean to." Troy confessed everything within hours, providing investigators the missing details. Their motives shocked the nation. They killed a freshman student to complete a school project. The trial drew massive public attention. Prosecutors painted the act as a calculated, cold-blooded scientific killing. Defense attorneys attempted to argue psychological pressure, competitive environment, and immaturity. But the footage spoke for itself. All 5 were convicted of first-degree murder, receiving lengthy sentences that effectively ended their futures. Ridgeview Boarding High School faced lawsuits, investigations, and public outrage. The administration was accused of negligence, suppression of evidence, and willful cover-up. Principal Harding resigned before charges could be filed. Mr. Adamson disappeared from the public eye entirely. Emily's parents finally received the truth, devastating but undeniable. The school closed for good in 2007. Emily Carter became more than a missing person case. Her story fueled national conversations about academic pressure, boarding school secrecy, and the psychological effects of competitive educational environments. New laws were introduced requiring mandatory security camera audits, mental health support for students, strict oversight on advanced science programs, increased accountability for boarding school administrations. Emily's parents established the Emily Carter Foundation, aimed at protecting students and exposing school environments that prioritize reputation over safety. Every year on October 19th, families, activists, and survivors gather to remember her. They light candles, share stories, and honor the life of a girl whose future was stolen by ambition twisted into cruelty. Ridgeview's abandoned campus still stands today, its laboratory sealed behind reinforced doors. Locals say the building feels haunted, not by ghosts, but by the chilling knowledge of what was once hidden inside. And on the cracked pavement outside the science wing, someone once spray-painted a simple message: knowledge should never cost a life. This case reminds us that evil doesn't always come from strangers lurking in the dark. Sometimes it comes from ordinary people, students, classmates, children, driven by fear, desperation, and twisted ambition. Emily Carter's story forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that institutions we trust can fail us, hide the facts, and protect their image instead of their students. Her life was stolen in the name of academic success, her memory buried by silence, and her disappearance dismissed for years. But justice, even delayed, still found its way. Thanks to a forgotten camera, a maintenance worker's curiosity, and her family's unwavering fight, Emily's truth finally surfaced. Her story now stands as a warning, a lesson, and a call for vigilance. If this story moved you, shocked you, or opened your eyes to the hidden dangers within systems meant to protect us, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us bring more real-life mysteries, true crime cases, and stories the world tried to bury. Stay alert, stay safe, and always remember Emily Carter.